First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Fire of God Church for having me here today. It's uh, it's honestly, I'm really happy to be here once again and just being able to be here with everybody and just to share this journey with you guys. So I'd like to start off by saying, growing up, okay, can you hear me better now? Okay, so growing up was kind of hard for me. I've always been raised in a single parent household. My mom, she was working really hard to provide a roof over my head. My dad, he's never really been around. It was kind of a struggle, not knowing how to be a man, not really having somebody to role model for me. It was very difficult. Throughout my life, I've always had a lot of struggles, especially with just my feelings. I felt really lonely growing up. I felt feelings of anger, and it was hard, which caused me to join a gang and stuff, and that really affected my life. I made poor choices. I tried drugs and alcohol, and that didn't really help my feelings. I still felt lost, confused, and I'm sorry, you guys. It's kind of hard, but I still felt lost and confused. And growing up, I thought maybe having a kid would help solve my problems. So I had my first kid at the age of 14, not knowing how to be a father because I never had a father. I was honestly very selfish. I'd find every excuse possible to not hang out with my son. And I was a poor father, to be honest with you. I was in and out of juvenile hall. I had heard of God during that time, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. Try to do things on my own, because I thought that's what men do, right? Try to do things by yourself. Try to figure life out by yourself. It was hard. I could never figure it out. No matter how hard I tried, I always still felt this emptiness inside, and I always felt confused, and I just couldn't figure it out. So I kept on this path of destruction, and which ended me to go in and out of juvenile hall multiple times, which then I became a ward of the state. I ended up in foster care. Being in foster care was really tough because I didn't have my mom around, so I didn't have nobody to babysit me because I was just being babysat. My mom would validate everything I was doing because she didn't know what to do, So I'm her first and only kid, so she would validate everything I was doing. So I ended up in foster care. Fast forward that, I got out of foster care. I graduated my foster care program. I actually am very blessed to have graduated high school because of my foster care. They helped me get my life together somewhat. I was still missing a huge part, which was Christ. After I graduated from my program of foster care, I started getting enrolled for college courses at Sac City. And shortly after that, I fell back off the wagon. I started doing my own thing again and started going through drugs and alcohol once more. I became lost again, and then I met the mother of my daughter who helped me get closer to God. I'd never met somebody like her that was really trying to help me focus on God and what He could do for me. I thought it was different, so I wanted to give it a shot and to try. And I still had a lot of issues, and I decided to give them over to God. But I still wasn't there. I wasn't there. And I wasn't there because I wasn't handing over my problems full-heartedly. I was still holding on to a lot of resentments from my father not being in the picture, and holding on to a lot of resentments with my mom, even though she tried her best. I just had a hard time forgiving people. I've always had a hard time trusting, most importantly. So it was hard to trust somebody I couldn't see, and at the time I honestly couldn't feel. I couldn't trust, so I ended up losing my family because of it, and I lost my connection with the church here, and it just went downhill from that. From there, you know how they say if you let go of God, you get 7 more powerful demons that attack you. It was very true. I didn't believe it back then, but it was true. I went through depression. Like, I just wanted to commit suicide. It was hard. I felt alone. I felt like things were just really tough. And I just didn't know what to do at that time. I knew I had a problem with my addiction. I was addicted to smoking and drinking. I don't want to glorify that too much, but I was addicted, and my family had just had enough. My kids, I've never really raised my kids because I just didn't know how to be a father. I ended up going to a recovery home, and at the recovery home, I had a real chance to give up my lifestyle, to give up my friends and my patterns of life and the way I was living. I had a chance to start over, a fresh start at life. I had a fresh start to just be able to be who God wanted me to be, not what my flesh desired me to be. I let go of a lot of my insecurities and trust issues, and I began to trust again. And I trust now that God has a bigger purpose for me than I could have ever dreamed of. I stood up here one time and I sang a song where God leaves the 99 to chase that one, and I found that to be true. Like, I've been living a life full of lies, and most importantly, I wasn't lying to just everybody, but I was lying to God. I was lying to myself. I pursued this relationship with desires of the flesh, and I just became lost and distraught. And now I'm back here again. And I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to be here with my daughter today and be able to be here with you guys and tell you guys my testimony, because I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for the Fire of God Church, and most importantly, if it wasn't for Pastor Steve. He's been very supportive of me, and he stuck with me through all my tough times and trials and tribulations, and he always gave me the best advice. And for a long time, I held on to a grudge and a resentment towards Pastor Steve, to be honest with you guys, and I kind of disliked him. I disliked him, and it was nothing. It was more, it had to do with me, because I wasn't being a man. I wasn't taking care of my family, and he helped my family out when I wasn't helping out my family. And he's been there for me this whole time, and he's been very supportive and always giving me the best advice. And I'm very thankful for you, Pastor Steve, for being able to have me here today, and just for all our conversations that we've had over the phone. And I'm really, really appreciative, and I'd like to apologize sincerely for all the times that I might have disrespected you, or all the times that I blew off your advice because I thought I knew what was best for me. So that's my testimony for today, you guys. Thank you.